All right. Well, we welcome back to the Multiply podcast, Mr. Jeremy Call.
It's a pleasure to be here, Noel. It always is.
Back in the arena. I definitely, you know what we didn't do last? Did we? Maybe we didn't. And I posted our first video on YouTube. Check it out. Multiply podcast under Noel on the North Shore or Noel North Shore.
Okay.
But no, you know, it's like I wanted to talk about the arena first. Did we talk about that last time?
I believe so.
I just love the whole Teddy Roosevelt speech, "Man in the Arena."
Oh yeah, it's pretty neat.
Right? I mean, I think that speech to me just speaks fatherhood to me. You're in the arena.
I think across the board we're losing that though. You know, you look at what's going on in the world and everything around it, and it's exactly what you're saying. Men need to be men, need to be dads, promote the family. And across the board, we're just missing that. Across the board.
Across the board.
Across the
no,
board.
That's exactly right.
And
yeah.
you see these speeches from guys who went out and did manly things their whole lives, hunted bears and
oh gosh, no, it's so true. That's right.
Not that defines manhood, but it definitely takes on this take of stuff that's kind of like seen as sometimes maybe in some way toxic masculinity or what's called toxic masculinity. And I just think it's such a miss though, in the sense that like you would say the same thing, that guys have to be able to express themselves in a way that is, I guess nowadays, called toxic masculinity in a sense. I mean, you have to do things. You're out on the court tackling people with your pickleball racket and taking kids down.
Yeah. All
kinds of kids just taking
gosh,
kids down.
it's so true.
Spikes.
So Jeremy, this does touch on the nerve. The whole point of this podcast is really it's going to come down to the one question, and I don't want you to answer the question right now, but the question is, what are your thoughts on every man living this lifestyle? Do you think every man should live this lifestyle? And I want that to sink in. Yeah. I don't want you to answer that right away. I'm going to come back to it. Because what I want to ask, I think right now, what I want to get back to, and I really appreciate you doing this with me, and I do want this to be a consistent, repeated event in some way every couple of months or something, because you definitely are, like, I feel like a chip off the old block, but I see so much of myself, but of course a much better version, a better head of hair for now.
Well, no,
but I just, it's like, what is your favorite part of your family? What is the favorite? What do you like the most about being the head of your family, or just being a father of a large family?
I think that what is pretty amazing is watching your kids inherently, the way that they act, the way that they do things, the way that they respond. There's a direct correlation between parents and kiddos. And I think it's humbling in so many ways.
Yeah, I love that.
Because it works both ways, right? So I'm, telling my kids, hey guys, we just got home. It's time to put away our stuff. Get your stuff together.
Yeah, you guys just went on a big trip.
We went on a big trip.
Right?
And, it's like, well, just a daily activity. But yeah,
That's right. We can get back to the trip. Yeah, I want to hear about the trip too.
The trip was great, but it's just a daily activity. It's like, hey, we're home, put your stuff away, and the shoes make it like 95% of the way, but not the extra 5%.
Oh God,
it's just like right there. Just like right there.
Yes.
And I'm like, I can't register that. But then I go to my room and my shoes have made it 95% of the way there and not the rest, right? It's like, so it's really humbling in so many ways. And you can carry that across the board. Tempers, food habits, the way that we eat, the way that we relate to one another. But on the flip side,
so much like yourself. It's so true.
And on the good though, for instance, the other day, go back to our trip, we were with a cousin. My oldest, her favorite activity in the whole world is probably gem mining. Loves to gem mine. The girl could gem mine for a week. She was made for the 49ers. So this is 1849, sent her out to California.
Wait, which one?
My oldest, Helen.
Oh, Helen.
She was just made to gem mines and
We
just
have that
sift.
in common.
Oh, she loves it.
I love.
You love it. So you understand. I don't know what it is. I guess the fine, the sift. I don't know what it is, but she can do that all day. And so
it's unpredictable. I think that there's an unpredictability to it, but it's also this idea of exploring the mystery of it all.
I guess
in New Mexico, we lived directly behind an area that's referred to as a mesa, where there was no development, no construction. We would go out. I would take the kids out, and New Mexico is kind of a harsh place to live, but a regular activity of ours was let's go to the dinosaur pit.
Yeah.
I mean, we would go to certain areas and just dig. Never found anything, but it's not about finding anything.
But see, you were doing that with your kids too.
Searching, exploring.
That too, but you were doing it with your kids too.
Oh,
and you were
absolutely.
That was just something that they could expect, a routine, a habit.
Yes.
Well, fast forward.
Like, where did Helen get that?
I don't know.
She didn't get that from. See, because my kids could absolutely point to we would do that with we did that with Dad, so.
Yeah.
So
I think that we opened it up on certain trips and it stuck with her, like these rocks, these gems. She loved it. I think Sarah would admit that, like as a kid, stuff like that would have interested her as well.
Right.
Fast forward though, she sees her cousin, and Helen had this one bag that we kind of reserved for her because she had been sharing already. And then her cousin said something like, "Oh, I didn't get the color rock that I wanted." And what did Helen do? She turned around and said, "Here's my bag." And so that reflects the good and because I see everything is coming down, and that wasn't inherently a Sarah move, right? Sarah would have done that in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah.
And so when you say what's so rewarding,
so generous and so nurturing,
look at the mom.
That's right.
So what do I enjoy little things like that. I love seeing that. I love the humility aspect of it. I'm constantly humbled by my own faults and failures, and I see those in my kiddos.
Oh gosh, it's so true. Do you find too? I mean, I know you have to agree with me on this. Like, it's because you have multiple kids too that they just have a better instinct in sharing. They just get it. I think when you just have one or two, everything is mine. And if that's the case with our own children. Yeah. But when you have you have a large family, I find that's a constant lesson to this day.
Oh, yeah.
Where I'm just like, can she just see it for 5 minutes?
Sure. And when you're working on time
and leaving it up to them,
exactly.
And again, where Helen, being the oldest, she just automatically gets like, this is the right thing to do.
It's easy.
I've got a whole bag full of worthless rocks.
Right. And nothing's going to get lost in the process of that either. It's not like, like the whole idea, like we're working on that with the middle kids right now. Just like you said, it's kind of like a time management thing. It's also like, hey, look, I guarantee you in just a few minutes she's going to get distracted and you're going to have it right back.
That's right.
Is there a big loss? But look, I mean, in the same vein, it goes up and down, right? In the same vein, when in the mornings, if I don't get X, what I perceive that I need in the morning, a swim, a walk, whatever the case is,
that's right.
From.
Yeah.
And that's an inherently selfish mindset that I need this. And so you can see that again, the humility aspect of fatherhood is one that is very rewarding and one that I absolutely love, but in that same aspect, it's kind of knocks you in your butt a few times,
Amen. It's so true. See, what you just said too just reminds me of my marriage.
Across the board. Across the board. Across the board.
I know. Well, it's interesting that it puts you in a position. Gosh, and like nothing puts you in that position like a family of serving another person. I just don't know how a man can get there any other way. I mean, I'm sure, obviously we could discuss, I don't know, this way or that way, but to me, it just, I mean, that is my opinion. Don't answer the question yet. but I think it was just so necessary, and not just for my soul. I mean, this is not a podcast that's about I hope you want to make your life better. I think ultimately that's, that to me is what this is all about. Like this, fatherhood, marriage and fatherhood, it's like, this is for you.
Yeah.
Just right in the here and now.
Yeah.
And the future. Right?
Well,
I mean, oh my gosh, gosh, somebody tell me another way, a better way.
Yeah, I think
of living your life. Like,
there's no doubt, for men though, like, where you see yourself as always climbing, right? Like, you're always trying to tackle something, you're always trying to climb something.
Right.
And, you know, it is one of those things that's, like, incredibly difficult to do if it's not tailored to a degree, right? You're just going to get lost in whatever you think you're climbing. So,
yeah.
I mean, look, I would suspect that there are many days when you wake up and you say, what the hell am I doing? What am I doing in life?
Yeah.
What am I doing? And then inherently...
Well, I think what I struggle with is I'll have moments where I'm just like, I can't do this, and I don't want to do this.
Well, I mean, this. You asked me about my vacation. There was a point in time where, very often, what I find is that with my kiddos and stuff like that, I can manage it, and like inherently, when you look around at all these kids moving around and doing their thing, you can't help but feel happy.
Oh,
just pure joy, right?
Oh, it's so true.
I was thinking, like, we haven't had. Like,
do you like to travel, like, in general? I mean,
if we can,
yeah.
It's been difficult.
But that's something that you look forward to.
Oh yeah, I love
going
going places, and I love seeing things because I can't sit still.
Yes.
And I think that's what a lot of guys would say, I can't sit still. So what do? Put the kids in, let's go do something. And the same thing with you in the dinosaur pit. We pack up, let's go do. I can't sit still. We got to do something.
Oh, it's so true.
You know, I always got to be able to move. And so,
exactly.
But I was on this trip, and you know, what I was finding is that, like, you know, look, you're with family, and you know, the personalities kind of, you know, fit and kind of have to fit for a few days. And there was one point in time where we were sitting by this fire, and I was just getting worn out with the familial aspect of the trip, is what it is.
Yeah.
And so I put the kids to bed, and it wasn't inherently my kids at all. My kids were doing fine. Just, you know, but I went back out to the fire because checked.
Where did you guys go?
We went up to North Arkansas. Rustic. Old town.
For what? Was there, like, did you guys...
We went and sat on a lake.
Did you get a little cabin? Yeah, by the water. Yeah.
By the lake. Had a little pool, a little cabin. It's where my uncle spent all of his summers for the past 15 years. You would have never found it on a map, but that's where we ended up. That's where he went every summer because his grandparents lived there.
That's right.
Went every summer for 15 years.
That's so funny.
So he was going.
So it's a family. It's still a family owned property or something?
This we went to like some privately owned and just rented a camp.
I see.
And so his grandparents aren't alive and they're not there. They don't have property, but he still likes to go back there. It's just reminds him of younger years. And he's familiar with it. So that's where we went. And
so you guys did like a fire every night?
We did a fire a couple nights, and on our second to last night. That's one of those things. Kids love it. I love it.
Everybody loves it. It's so physical too, right? You go out, you got to get the kindling together.
I think that was the biggest thing, was that like people, parents, they wanted to keep moving, and I was like, no, just sit and watch the fire. I love it, just sitting by the fire. So all these questions are getting thrown to me. It's like, it's contrary to everything that I imagine a fire should be. Just sit.
Exactly.
Talk. Don't move. Don't quiz people. Just talk.
Yeah, let's just relax
so
and
I got the kids to bed. Sarah had the kiddos, the babies. We were all good. I get back out there. I just went and sat out there for 20 minutes by myself.
Nice.
Nobody else was out there. Fire was still going.
Yeah.
And I was trying to. It was this juxtaposition of like what was going on with having to like accept the fact that I was with family, plus two, like my own thoughts. I was trying to have like blended, and I had this realization: just sit by the fire. Like, you need to start dying to yourself more. And I think that's what fatherhood is, and I think that's what manhood is all about.
I have to agree.
You have to die. What other causes are you doing except for to die to yourself? Because if it's only yourself, you're gonna have this like, for men especially, you're gonna have this like this beautiful thought in your head of what it should be, and you're not gonna attain it.
Well,
it's put yourself on the spot.
It's so true, Jeremy. It's like based on the way you were raised, or based on the way I was raised. I mean, and which we talked about the first time. I was definitely raised very coddled, very set up to be self-centered. And that is my that is my biggest cross, or my biggest
I'm
challenge,
the same
because
way.
I will find there is such a peace and joy with serving, but I will get to a point where I will start to think, what's in it for you?
I do the same
What's
thing.
in it for you? And I will start to like listen, like, yeah, this is bullshit. What is in it for me?
Yeah.
Ugh.
No, I'm the same. I
Right?
was raised the same way.
Where things are going along just fine until I trip up on my own shit.
Yeah,
Makes me crazy.
You're in the same spot with me, and that's how I was.
See, and that
raised
does
too.
just give me such a consolation, because
You
you will start to believe like this is just me.
No.
I have a problem and I can't fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I'm telling you, I think
it's
fellowship
tough.
is so, God, it's just so crucial
And it's so tough.
in a
because
man's life, especially. I mean,
well,
yeah,
you're getting to the point. Of
especially this
acknowledging
lifestyle that we've chosen to
Well,
live.
yeah, and that's there's this selfish aspect of the way that I live, and then I try to put it to the side, and then boy, is that a constant battle, right? Like, I'm being selfish. I need this. And then like putting it to the side, because I was raised in the same way.
Yeah.
I was coddled. My parents gave me everything that I needed, and it wasn't elaborate or excessive, but it was everything that I needed. I had.
Well, because I was raised in a broken
You
situation,
had it all from
dysfunctional.
different.
I was absolutely. I mean, my mother at one point was like, she'd bring us to Toys R Us when that was a thing.
Oh,
I mean, that was Christmas. That was like Christmas Eve for us. Yeah, she'd go, you can have anything you want in the store. And I would think, I don't even know.
Yeah.
What could I even possibly want? You know, because then I'd go to see my father, and my grandmother would really spoil me.
Would you
She'd take
say?
me to the mall,
Yeah.
and she'd be like,
Same.
any pair of shoes that you want.
Yeah.
You know, it was like I was raised out of with so much guilt on
Well,
both
yeah,
on both
You
sides.
don't realize that until you get older. So like you're being
know.
raised, and that's the biggest thing.
No,
about
it's so
raising.
true.
You don't realize.
Yeah,
that.
I never thought anything.
Yeah,
I never
I
thought
was 30.
anything was wrong.
I
Right.
hit 30 before I realized that I was raised in such a capacity of being self-centered, and it broke me to such a degree that like
Yeah.
I still dwell on that, and I still have moments where I don't know where the next step is.
See, and that's what's so amazing to me, is because we're very inundated in this capitalistic culture where it's nonstop. Love yourself. Take care of yourself. Get yourself situated first.
Yeah.
All this terrible, where ultimately you think, how could that possibly make you a better person? Or what you hear all the time, I want to change the world, how could that possibly be a good thing for the world?
Yeah.
Or for people in your community in general whatsoever? I mean, it's just, I think that's what's so, I feel like that's what's so necessary about what we're doing. I just do feel so drawn or called to promote this lifestyle that we've chosen.
Look, and there's nothing easy.
Whether it
about
amounts to anything, I mean, I just feel like who is promoting large families?
Let's stop there, because I did want to draw this point. I didn't want to forget, because I was thinking about it a couple days ago, and then it reoccurred to me this morning.
Hold that thought. Hold it. I just want to make sure we're still cooking. Yes. Okay.
So back. If we ever figure out how to edit videos, we're back.
Oh, shut up.
We're back.
I figured it out. Yeah, that's right. We're back.
I
What was
wanted
the
to come back
idea?
to this thought, because in the past few weeks, your family, my family, had a lot going on.
Oh,
We
yeah.
would admit it. The one weekend I'm thinking of was the first weekend in June, which was dance rehearsal, dance recitals, and then First Communion. And it was boom,
Incredible.
boom,
Boom, boom.
right?
Yeah.
I wanted to commend you and your family in this sense, because the whole time you had, how many, you went to all three of those recitals?
I went to the two. Juliana went to the third.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your family went
She
to
went-
three,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
Okay, and then
Yes.
you had First Communion in there as well.
That's right.
All your kids were there, or as many that could be there were there, and they were all inherently happy,
Sure.
grateful,
Oh yeah.
cheering, It was amazing. It was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Jeremy.
Like, you're like,
That makes my whole day.
But sure,
Yeah.
because
I was a
beautiful.
little embarrassed. You know, it's like, but ultimately, I'm just like, yeah, this is us, and we love each other. We
That's right.
cheer for each other,
I think
and
that's awesome.
Julie's telling me like, don't whistle, like I'm in church.
Come on. Come on. But when it was Saturday, Sunday,
Yeah.
all your kids that could be there were there. They were all
Yeah.
cheering. They were all happy.
Yeah.
They were grabbing my kids. They were grabbing whatever kids were there because
Oh,
they knew
yes.
everybody.
Oh,
they
they
were
just
so
love-
happy. They had
yeah.
smiles the whole time.
They love your
Meanwhile,
family so
when
much.
the dads are in those things, we're like, we got to be for how long?
Exactly.
I'm like, what? I got to go to 2 now?
There was a dad,
Oh, it was
and I don't want to. I don't
beautiful.
know.
It
It's like
was
I don't want to
beautiful.
gossip too much, but
It
there
was
was a
beautiful.
dad on the second show that was watching a baseball game the whole time. Were you?
Is that me? Were you sitting next to me?
Oh shit!
Were you sitting next to me?
That was not you.
I had it-
Oh,
I had it
God
going.
bless. I think who was playing?
LSU.
That's right.
I look.
That is so.
I had to watch some of the
I didn't
repeat
get
shows.
close enough to see, but I was like, I personally just hate baseball.
I love it.
I'm much more interested in the NBA Finals right now,
It
but
gets into the selfishness aspect. Like,
That's right.
what, I'm spending 4 hours on what? But and then you take a step back,
Yeah.
and then you're reminded that this was the best weekend ever for my kids, who were
Amen.
so happy.
oh gosh,
And boy, does that
Mine
humble
too.
you yet
Mine
again.
too. It's so true.
I'm like, I'm complaining
Hey,
about sitting
man.
there for 6 years, 6 hours, and my kids get up there and they're
Yeah.
so happy.
They were.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah, gosh,
like-
no, mine too.
Like,
Just
like
so-
how humbling to be like my wife's like, guess who just had the time of their lives, and you're over here watching the game.
What?
I'm like, well, I watch my kids too. She's like, yeah, but every kid worked that hard.
It's so true.
And I'm like, you're right.
That's such a good oh, darn it.
Ooh.
Oh, see,
Hey,
Juliana
gets
would
back to
never
my
let me get. You know what it is with my wife too? She's not. It's not that she's controlling, or that's what it is with Juliana. And I know Sarah's the same way. When she gets something in her head that she just is like, I mean, she would have made a scene.
Wait,
She'd have got up and walked out.
Yeah, but I don't know.
She'd have kind of threatened, like, I'm just going to leave if you're going to watch, that, and that's just Juliana. I mean,
I think that Sarah is more, for me, it's never like a stickler or like somebody who's like
Yeah.
trying to aha you. It's like a referee.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm calling it like a C.
And I guess
you're doing
too,
X.
yeah, I mean, I guess too, if that was a part, if I was like an alumni, you know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, she
Across the
certainly,
board.
she certainly is very accommodating when it comes to something that really matters to
Yeah.
me. No question.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, isn't that the? I think guys, you want to know, like, if you have a good spouse, and then I'm not even saying like, but spouses should compliment it. You're talking about the
Amen.
lifestyle
Amen.
and what
Yeah.
she calls you out, right?
Yes.
It's never. I mean, I know you hear about marriages where the wife's doing this or the husband's doing that. I know it's a two-way street, but
Yeah.
at least in my marriage, my wife is more of a referee
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah,
Who's
that's
like,
interesting.
hey,
Yeah.
hey, what are you doing? She calls me
Exactly.
out on my selfish tendencies.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I'm very
Juliana
grateful.
too. Yeah, Juliana too. Is very much that. Juliana is also. I mean, I think that but the difference with Juliana is that she's much more like the manager and the referee.
Okay.
She
okay.
very definitely is very strong-willed. She, I think, just personality-wise, just like has had to take control, and so she's gotten good at it.
Okay.
And I know in the past I've just like one of the kids just kind of
Hop
gone
on.
along, yeah, like, oh, it's
Exactly.
fine, yeah,
Right.
you want to call the shots or
Right.
decide, like,
Somebody has to,
yeah,
right?
that's fine with me.
Because
No,
of the
it's
selfish
true.
tendency, somebody hops in the lakes and starts swimming for 30
That's right.
minutes, and then Sarah's like, what are you doing?
Exactly,
So
that's
It
right.
was wonderful. It brings me so much joy. So selfish, but I
That's
love
it.
it.
That's
Oh,
it.
man.
Yeah, you're so
We
fun.
talk about it like we got the kids doing that.
It's because you're a good, it's because you're a good swimmer.
Just swim.
Yeah.
I just swam.
Fantastic.
So some point
To the
mile
other side of
away,
the lake?
Some
Yeah.
point a mile down. So I'm gonna swim
Yeah.
to that point down there. I'm gonna swim there.
And you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want my kids to see that too. I know it's selfish, but I want my kids to be like, that is so
Oh,
far
it's so
away.
important.
But look
It's
what
so
Dad
true.
did. 'Cause
That's
they
right.
need to see that too.
It's
they
so
can
true.
do that.
Oh, it's so true. No, without a doubt. I mean,